Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another video. We're almost done. We're almost done with the prequels. This is actually the last movie I'm going to be reviewing. So technically after this, we are officially done with the prequels. So, the prequels have been quite an interesting journey. Yes, they have. They've been quite an interesting journey indeed. But, yes, the prequels have been an interesting journey. And, I gotta say, so far, I've been watching, them, and I feel like, the prequels, have their issues, but I feel like they are pretty good. So, now that we're reviewing the last film of the prequels, how is this film, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, how is this film compared to the others? Well, we're going to be talking about that here. So before I do that, though, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. If you guys like my reviews, then subscribe to my channel so you guys can be, keep notified and stuff for my future videos. Because I do a lot of reviews. I've done Pixar, I've done Blue Sky, I've done Illumination, and now I'm doing Star Wars, aka Lucasfilm. So yes, if you guys are interested in this stuff, please check out my playlist. Anywho, now that I got that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this film. So this film here is the last film of the prequel trilogy, like I said, and out of all the films I've reviewed so far, this one is by far probably the darkest film. Yes, it is the darkest film. This film is really, really dark. And sorry about that notification, I got a notification there, sorry about that, on Discord and stuff. That kind of blocked the screen a bit. But yeah, I get notifications all the time. I didn't know that one was going to be so big, but yeah, I'm getting notifications like left and right on this phone. But yeah, so yeah, I was gonna say though, so basically though, this film is definitely the darkest. It is definitely this is definitely by far probably one of the darkest, Star Wars films. So, let's go ahead and get into, this film here. So this film starts off, with Anakin and Obi-Wan flying in their ships, attacking droids, going after General Grievous and Count Dooku, and their mission is to rescue Palpatine, from Count Dooku and all that. So that's their mission. And I gotta say this. I gotta say that this technically is it picks up after the 2D Clone Wars show. Not the CGI one that came out years later, but the 2D animated one. See, there was two different versions of the Clone Wars show. There was the 2D animated one and the CGI one. Now, I haven't really seen, I haven't seen either show in a long time. I haven't really seen much of the 2D animated one. I have seen General Grievous, and General Grievous is such a badass in the original show. He is in the CGI show too. He is, but he's not as good as he was in the original show. But I'll get to that here in a second. So yeah, basically it picks up after, it's supposed to pick up after the last episode of the 2D animated show. So it picks up right here in episode 3, and I gotta say though, I will eventually tackle the Clone Wars show. I'll tackle both of them. I haven't done that though because I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of the shows, like both shows. I haven't really seen hardly anything of the 2D animated show. I just know it's a lot shorter. It's like only 25 episodes, which is very short. So, yeah, while the CGI one has like several episodes to it. So yeah, so basically though, I'll have to watch those shows, and I'll have to watch both shows, and I'll have to tell you guys my thoughts on them, but it's gonna be a while before I can do that, because I'd have to watch the entire show to do that. Well, I don't know if I'd have to watch the entire show of the CGI one, because technically, I can't really say there's probably a horrible episode in that show, but I will have to watch season 7 too, because that season is different, because it's made by Disney and not George Lucas. So I'll have to, watch that one separate. And I'm gonna say this, I will probably not be tackling all the shows either. I will be not tackling all the shows, because a lot of them I hear are horrible and awful. Now, I could like them, I'm not sure. But I don't want to waste my time watching the shows, because I've heard people do not like them, and they don't sound interesting for me to talk about them. But I will talk about probably the season 7 finale of the Clone Wars show, the CGI one eventually, because technically that one is part of the main show. So I will tackle that eventually, But I gotta say though, for right now, we're gonna be talking about definitely the last movie of the prequels. And so I gotta say, this film, yeah, like I said, it's dark, and it does pick up after where it left off. And we're gonna get why it's dark too in a second, just like General Grievous. But I gotta say, this film right here, it starts off very well. Like, this film is already amazingly better than the last two films. Now, I don't hate the last two films, but I think people have problems because the films have pacing problems. There's a lot of walking around and sitting. There's not really a lot to the film, and I gotta agree that it does hurt the film a bit. But I don't think it hurts the film that bad. Like, I think they still have their moments where they're telling a story and all that. I just feel like this film is just fast paced. This film, compared to the other two, is fast paced. Like, it just goes from one scene to the next very fast. But yeah, it does have that, and this film is what reveals Palpatine as a Sith Lord and stuff, Which I kind of find funny, because in the other two films he's not really seducing Anakin Skywalker that much. Anakin, as part of them, trying to turn him to the dark side. It feels like he's not doing it. This film, he's like trying to turn him to the dark side and all that. Palpatine being the total dickhole he is, being a dick, because Palpatine's evil. I mean, this guy's just freaking pure evil. This guy's a freaking madman. He goes out killing people and all that, lying to people. He even betrays his own freaking men. I'm not joking, I'm serious. Like, when they were going to fight Count Dooku, I'm gonna go ahead and get right to this. They go to fight Count Dooku after they fight, like, freaking a million droids. He freaking, like Anakin cuts off Dooku's hands, and Palpatine tells him to kill him. And Dooku knew that Palpatine was Darth Sidious. So the fact that, Palpatine literally had Anakin kill his own Padawan, that's freaking messed up. And the thing is, though, is what's kind of stupid is the scene kind of goes on for about a minute before he kills it. I mean, we do have Anakin kind of getting confused. He's confused, like, what he should do. Like, was it right for him to kill Dooku? Was it wrong? He's kind of confused. We're getting that confusion from him. And the thing is, though, is, I gotta say, it's kind of stupid how Dooku's not telling them that, telling Anakin, Dooku, Palpatine is actually, a Sith Lord, the Sith Lord that they've been looking for. But I guess it makes sense, because in the last film, he told well, I don't think in that film he knew that Darth Sidious was actually Palpatine, but in this film he does. But he tried to tell Obi-Wan about that, but Obi-Wan, didn't believe him, because Obi-Wan was an idiot in that film and didn't believe him, even though he flat out told him everything. But, I told you guys my thoughts on that in that film. But, yeah, he ends up, I think he doesn't question, he doesn't explain anything, because he doesn't think Anakin would kill him. But no, Anakin flat out killed him. Anakin cut his head off and killed him. Man, Anakin killed him. And then, we get some moments from General Grievous himself. Now, some people I've heard complain about this, like Star whatever her name is. I think her name's Star Productions or something like that. She's a trans YouTuber and all that. I'm subscribed to. Personally, I think I've kind of lost interest in her content just because she's kind of, whenever she talks about things, she doesn't really explain why she hates or likes something. So I'm kind of confused. But I have watched her stuff in the past, and I've seen her review these films. And she basically flat out, and I'm sure a lot of other people flat out explained that General Grievous is kind of pathetic in this film because he doesn't have the same voice and all that as he did in the cartoons. That's kind of something kind of stupid to complain about because, a lot of the characters in the cartoon show didn't have had different voice actors and stuff, and not like the same voice actors they did in the actual movies. So I think that's kind of stupid to complain about. Now, I may not be a fan of her content much anymore, but I'm not trying to bash her either, but I do have to disagree with that. General Grievous has a different voice actor, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. I do prefer his voice actor in the cartoon version of Star Wars, though. I do prefer him there, but I do like his voice in the prequel movie, the Revenge of the Sith, too. I think it's really good. Now, this is the voice he'll have currently. And the thing is, though, is he also has that coughing, too. Now, he actually, Mace Windu, at the very last episode, actually destroyed General Grievous's lungs. He destroys them. He freaking forces and pushes his lungs and breaks his chest, and his lungs get damaged. Now, the thing is, some people might think it's not canon because technically, here's the thing. George Lucas later down the road changed General Grievous. He changed him because he didn't want him to be this super overpowered badass, fighter. So he changed it. He changed it, and he changed it to where General Grievous is more of this aggravating, villain who gets annoyed by people and stuff and all that. But I think this is canon. I think it's actually canon because he actually because this takes place after this. I told you guys it takes place after the last episode of the 2D show where it left off. So this actually takes place after that. So I gotta say it's kind of canon, I think. I could be wrong, though. But I do believe the whole coughing thing comes from the 2D show because he did start coughing at the end of that because he got his lungs damaged. And yeah, they fixed his lungs up, but you see how fast they repair these people and the droids and stuff, on these shows and movies. They repair them very fast. So it's possible he could have got his chest repaired very fast. Because also, there's something I need to tell you guys. There was actually 4 hours of the movie that was cut. I'm not kidding. 4 hours of this movie was cut. And the thing is, though, is the 4 hours that were cut, a lot of it takes place them being on the ship. So, I actually forgot to look at the deleted scenes of the show. Of this movie. I was meant to look at them and I forgot. But there is a deleted scene where General Grievous does kill one of the Jedi, too. He kills Shark Teen. Which, honestly, that deleted scene doesn't make sense because, she got defeated by General Grievous and got left behind while he went and took, Palpatine to his ship. So, on the last episode. So, yeah, I have seen pieces of the 2D animated show, but I haven't seen enough to really justify it, I've seen some parts where the Jedi are overpowered, I feel like, and all that, but I haven't seen enough of the 2D show to really, justify it. But I do remember seeing Shakti or whatever, however pronounce her name. Because I know one Jedi, states her name, but she basically gets damaged by Grievous, and he takes off with Palpatine. So she wouldn't have been on the ship, so it doesn't make any sense. So I'm glad they kind of cut that out. But I kind of wish they wouldn't have cut out probably everything, because some of these deleted scenes probably could have been good. But I don't really know. But yeah, they cut out quite a bit of this film. They've cut it out. And here's the thing. Now, technically, I think the other two films also have had things cut out of it, but not like, I don't think as much as this film. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure. So it's kind of interesting, talking about that. So yeah, but I gotta say that there's a lot of interesting stuff in this film and all that. And yeah, I wish we could have seen more of Grievous and stuff, probably fighting them and all that. I still think he's still a cool villain. I like Grievous. Grievous is an awesome villain. But he ends up, escaping and all that. Palpatine ends up, going to the, Palpatine ends up, and Anakin and Obi-Wan end up crashing the ship because it breaks in half and all that because they damage the ship and they go crashing to the planet. Speaking of which, I forgot to bring this up too, when I was talking about them being on the ship. But there's also a moment where, like, R2-D2 literally lights these droids on fire, like, with freaking oil. It's so freaking awesome. Like, he just lights them on fire. Like, it's awesome. So, yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty cool that they actually, have that. Also, the droids actually have, I think, a bit more dialogue in this movie than they do in the other two. The second one, they really don't have anything to do with the movie until, like, about halfway into the movie. But, actually, it's a little over halfway because I looked at it and there's like an hour left of the movie. And that movie was like 2 hours and something minutes long. So, I'm not sure why they cut that out. I mean, when I cut them out, why they didn't have them included more in the movie. I guess they were trying to show them, that they were reprogramming the droid army and stuff. So basically, though, there was that, and then, because we actually get to speaking roles from the battle droids, or not the battle, they're not battle droids, I don't know if you call them battle droids, they're the ones that R2-D2 lit on fire, and they also kicked R2-D2, well, one of them did, and, I'm not sure what kind of droids they are, I forgot, but they do have speaking roles. I don't remember them ever speaking at all besides that moment. Because I don't think they really speak in the cartoon show or the other show. I could be wrong. But I don't really hear them speaking, and they actually got more of a robotic voice. I do know they make voices on the Lego Star Wars games. At least the Clone Wars version. The complete saga one, the droids, none of them have voices really when they get killed. The battle droids do say the uh-oh and all that, but, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting they actually have voices here, but you do hear the same droids, when they get killed in the Clone Wars version of the Lego game. They do make a ooh sound. When it sounds kind of deep, which is kind of odd, but I do kind of like the voice acting in this. They're definitely not voiced by the same person. They're not. They're voiced by a different voice actor, I think, is voicing them in the Revenge of the Sith movie versus the Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace, which I find kind of interesting. I do like their voices here too. It kind of, I think they actually sound a bit better than they do in the Phantom Menace and all that. Now, some people have complained about that because they sound different. The droids are kind of stupid and all that, but I think it works because it makes them not sound like robot. Well, they sound robotic, but they also sound human too at the same time. So, because in the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, the droids their voices just sounded they sound all robotic and stuff. And they still sound robotic, but their voices are like fleshed out more and sound more like a mixture between robotic and actual humans speaking, and I like that better, I do. I do like that better. It makes them stand out a bit more. And then their goofy personalities, again, people complain about that, but I have to disagree. No offense to people who disagree with me on this, that's fine, but I have to disagree. I think their voice, I think their goofy personalities, I think fit them better because they make them stand out compared to the stormtroopers. And they give them more of a personality than just being, typical, troopers and all that just fighting. So, but I do gotta say, I do like all that and stuff, and I think it's pretty cool. We get an action sequence, like I said, with R2-D2 and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Once again, though, the droids don't really have too much to do in this film. I think so far only the Phantom Menace really has a lot to do with the droids. They do pick up, like I said, Attack of the Clones, and they are in the Revenge of the Sith. Like I said, they have more speaking roles, but they're still not in the film too much. But they are building up the droids, they're building up, Palpatine getting the clone army and stuff, so, yeah, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, I should probably go ahead and talk about the other parts of the movie, because, it's important. But yeah. But now we're gonna go on and talk about another part of the movie where apparently they get back to the planet. I forgot the name of it, and apparently I guess Padme is pregnant with Anakin and her kids. Yeah, this is where they reveal Padme, and Padme being pregnant with Princess Leia and Luke, and I gotta say that Anakin's look on his face is kind of he doesn't seem to be happy about it. Of course, he says he's happy about it, but he doesn't seem to be very happy about it. And I don't really blame him. I mean, they're trying to keep a secret here, and now that they have kids on the way, and that's kind of hard to keep a secret when you have kids and stuff. Now their plan is to go move to Padme's home planet eventually when they have the kids there and raise them there. That's the plan, and they're supposed to be raising them there and all that to keep it from a secret. But I mean, eventually the Jedi probably would figure it out. I mean, they're gonna figure it out. But I don't really know. I just don't know. But I don't really get the whole thing with them, not being able to have kids anyway, because, again, how are the Jedi supposed to reproduce? But I've already talked about that too, yeah, but I gotta say though that I do like this, that they're building it up, and apparently Anakin ends up having another nightmare. Yes, he has a nightmare. I didn't bring this up, I forgot to bring this up in the last review of the Star Wars movies, but in Attack of the Clones, he had a nightmare about his mother and him losing his mother. I didn't bring that up because I forgot to bring it up, but it was horrifying to listen to. Like, it sounded like off of a horror movie or something. Like, it was scary. I don't like horror movies, but it was horrifying. Like, the way her voice sounded when she was crying for his help and all that, it sounded creepy. Like, it sounded very creepy. But yeah, he had a nightmare about, Padme and, him not wanting to lose her, like he failed and lost his mom, because he failed to lose his mom, and it put a lot of pressure on him in the second film. Now he's worried he's gonna lose Padme too, and now he has a couple dreams. The first one, he's actually in the dream. He's in it. Well, he's not actually, you can't see him in the dream, but Padme's talking to him and all that. The second dream, Obi-Wan's in it instead. So you can tell that the future kind of changed. It changed and, became, basically Anakin, because Anakin's slowly turning to the dark side, so it's changing the future. It's changing it. So yeah. So I gotta say, I like that detail too. I like it's building Anakin up more as a Sith Lord or a Sith character, because he's so desperate to save Padme. He's losing control of his emotions and all that. And plus the council won't let him be ranked as master. Which honestly would piss me off too, because I'm fucking a Jedi here, and you won't let me, be a freaking master. I mean, how many times have I helped you guys out and saved the day and stuff? So I can honestly understand why Anakin would be mad about that. So Anakin's got a few things going on that's frustrating him. Meanwhile, Palpatine is trying to turn him closer to the dark side by revealing, that Sith Lords can actually heal. They actually can heal their they can heal themselves. Yes, they can heal, but yeah, they can actually heal and save people and all that from dying. Now, the thing is, though, I don't think they can actually do that, though, because we never really see that. And I could be wrong, there could be books on it, but I think Palpatine was just telling Anakin that so he could actually join. Because they never shown it before. They never have. Heck, even on the CGI Clone Wars show, which came out years later after this, I don't remember seeing them healing stuff. So I don't think they can actually heal. I mean, they could. There are so many Jedis would have been saved and stuff, but I guess we're gonna get to that when the sequel trilogy is around. Because I haven't seen The Force Awakens or the Rise of Skywalker, but I've heard people complain about that. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see if they actually do it poorly or not. So, but I do think again, Palpatine is lying to Anakin because he wants to, because again, no Sith or Jedi has ever done that. They never actually healed, but I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong, but that makes, Anakin want to turn to the dark side even more, and eventually what happens is, this is actually kind of where the sad part kind of comes in. We get to hear Anakin's last words with Obi-Wan before he becomes Darth Vader. He becomes Darth Vader, and, he's talking about how he wants to impress his master and all that, and he's sorry about him, and Obi-Wan goes off to fight General Grievous, and Anakin stays behind. So we get quite a bit of stuff with that, and it's kind of sad because the next time they see each other, they're going to be killing each other. So it's pretty sad. But speaking of Grievous and stuff, now we get to talk about we're going to be talking about the thing I want to talk about now about Grievous and stuff. So, now everyone's complaining about this, about Grievous's, battle and the fact that he's weak and his battle is pathetic compared to, the 2D show and the CGI show and all that. I have to say, I actually kind of agree. I kind of do, kind of don't. With the lightsabers, I think they suck. I think they do suck. I think Obi-Wan defeats him way too quick. I feel like they should have been much more of a fight. I kind of wish the fight would have lasted about a minute longer or something. Because he just freaking defeats him. Obi-Wan's just ready to battle him and got this look. And then he just cuts his hands off and all that. And I feel like that's just kind of just too weak. Now, I can understand, if Obi-Wan, maybe or Yoda doing it or something, Yoda fighting Grievous, but it's not Yoda fighting Grievous, it's Obi-Wan fighting Grievous. Obi-Wan is fighting Grievous, and the thing is, though, like I said, he just defeats Grievous pretty easily. Well, he cuts his arms off. Then we get a cool battle sequence where they're fighting, Obi-Wan's on this dinosaur alien thing, and Grievous is on one of his car things, which I'm not sure what it is, but it's pretty cool. They start fighting each other, and we get probably one of the most satisfying deaths in Star Wars history. literally freaking Obi-Wan blows up Grievous's heart and catches on fire, and it literally kills him. Now I gotta say, I kind of think it's pretty cool, but I kind of wish I could see it more in other cartoons. Because I don't mind if people reuse deaths. I don't mind it at all. I don't, because people do it all the time. I mean, how many villains have fell off cliffs or something, or got eaten alive or something? I think it would have been cool if we could have seen more deaths like that, where maybe not like where they get shot in the heart like Grievous does, but maybe they get that their insides burn up or something. Just something about that is just so cool and satisfying. But yeah, we get a cool death sequence with him, and it's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. It's definitely a pretty cool fight. I do wish, like I said, I wish they would have made it where the fight, with him with the lightsabers was more epic, though. Because in Count Dooku, his fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan was more epic. Now, I guess I can give him a little slack, though, because it's probably hard for them to, with the technology they had back then, it was probably hard to animate Grievous with 4 lightsabers. But even then, I'm just I kind of wish he was he was a better fighter, Maybe he fought 2 lightsabers and he went to 4 because they again, Obi-Wan defeats him too quickly, and we can't see him actually fighting Obi-Wan. It's too quick. But otherwise, the rest of the battle was actually pretty cool, and I really like it. I don't think it's probably my favorite, but I do think it's pretty cool. But then we get to another moment where, meanwhile, I'm back out. I think it's it might be Mustafar. I'm thinking maybe what the planet's called. I don't know. There's freaking so many planets. There's so many planets and all that. But Palpatine, ends up, Anakin ends up confronting, Palpatine because the Jedi are starting to turn on Palpatine, starting to see him as this bad guy. But Anakin's not sure what to think. So Anakin goes to him, and Palpatine flat out admits that he's the Sith Lord. He doesn't say he's the Sith Lord, but he goes into extremely 18 details that he's the Sith Lord by explaining that that he's learned the path from the dark side and all that, because he's studied both Jedis and Siths, and Anakin just flat out figured out that Palpatine's actually the bad guy. Whoop-de-doo, yay, the bad guy, yeah. And for some reason, he doesn't freaking kill him. He doesn't kill him. He just walks off, I guess. I get he's probably, at this point, he's going back and forth. Basically, at this point, Anakin is disappearing and Darth Vader is appearing. But he doesn't kill Palpatine. Instead, he gets Mace Windu to do it. Mace Windu, he doesn't want to kill Palpatine. He wants to arrest Palpatine. And Mace Windu, goes out with 4 other Jedi and to kill Palpatine. And Palpatine reveals that he's definitely the Sith Lord, and he fights him. And now this fight is actually better than Grievous's. It's better than Grievous's. It's better. It's definitely a much better fight. So we get reveal that that Palpatine is this powerful Sith that can kill off Jedi and stuff. Now the fight against all 4 Jedis is kind of pathetic. I'm gonna agree with people on this. It's kind of pathetic. I feel like They make it way too, I feel like they don't do a whole lot. I mean, they do a lot with it, with the effects and stuff, but the way Palpatine defeats the 3 Jedi is just kind of crazy. Now, I can kind of understand that it's a live-action movie, and it's not cartoon, so they're kind of limited to what they can do, and the guy who plays Palpatine did not know how to use a lightsaber, so they kind of sped up the footage and stuff, but it still kind of looks kind of bad. But once he gets down to fighting Mace Windu, then the battle gets really cool. It gets really good. He ends up knocking the window out. One of them, I don't remember who knocks the window out. Then Palpatine freaking tries to fight, Mace Windu with the lightsaber by the window. Mace Windu knocks the lightsaber out of Palpatine, and then Anakin comes, and Palpatine trying to explain to Anakin that the Jedi have taken over, and trying to explain to Anakin that Jedi are bad. So Mace Windu tries to arrest Palpatine like he did already with the 4 Jedi, but then he uses electricity and against Mace Windu, and he ends up using it against him, and well, he ends up messing up his face. Yeah, he messes up his face. Which honestly, his face is so horrifying. Honestly, it shows how pure evil this jackass is. Like, I'm gonna call him a jackass because he is a jackass. He freaking killed like 3 Jedi and all that. This guy's freaking pure evil. He's up there with freaking like Slade from Teen Titans and freaking the Lich and all that, and him. Actually, he might be more evil than even them. This guy's just freaking pure evil, and he ends up revealing he kills Mace Windu because Anakin doesn't want Mace Windu to kill Palpatine, and he gets electrocuted out the window because his hand gets cut off by Anakin, and then we get to reveal that Anakin fully turns to the dark side, and then then it cuts to him, I guess, going and killing the younglings and stuff, and all the other Jedi. So yeah, so there was quite a bit of stuff that happened in those few scenes, and I'm trying not to go into too much detail because otherwise this video will be freaking for long as hell. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on with this movie here, and yeah, I gotta say though, him turning to the dark side, I would say it probably would be pathetic because he just turns to the dark side like just that quickly. But I feel like they build it up pretty nicely, and the thing is though, when you get obsessive, it can turn you against your friends. It can. I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I was there too. I didn't go killing people like, Darth Vader or, Palpatine does, but there were moments where I have lost control because I was so frustrated, and that's the problem. Your emotions can really get to you. That's why Palpatine, wants to get Anakin, there, because he wants him, to become the Sith Lord, and he does, he exceeds. So yeah, but he ends up, executing Order 66, which I gotta say is probably one of the most saddest moments in all Star Wars history. It is very sad. Even though it's mostly the Jedi that die, it's still very sad. Like, it is so sad. There's so many Jedi that die. Anakin kills the Padawans. He kills them, and the younglings. He kills the younglings, and he goes off to the lava planet and kills Rice Gandor and all the other people there, the Separatists. So yeah, it is very sad. And yeah, for Rice Gangor and all that, they were bad guys, but they were also tricked by Palpatine too. So Palpatine, once again being a dick he is, just freaking turns against them and kills them too because he doesn't care. Because Palpatine just walks away from it like it's nothing. So yeah, but it's very sad. Like, it doesn't make me cry, but it is sad, And the reason why it doesn't make me cry is because I've seen the scene so many times. I've seen people react to it, but it's still very sad. It's a sad scene. Definitely one of the most saddest scenes in Star Wars. And, the thing is, though, we get to, we get to Order 66, and then apparently Yoda and Obi-Wan survive. They survive, and because of course they survive. We know they would survive because there's the original trilogy to still talk about, and And I gotta say though that I'm kind of looking forward to the original trilogy too, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, the fact that we know they'll survive at least is good, so at least the Jedi can continue. And yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Palpatine, ends up. Palpatine ends up, getting Anakin to do all this stuff and the clones and stuff, which the clones turning against Anakin, turning against the Jedi is sad. Now, in this movie, it's kind of poorly the way they turn against them because it feels like they just betrayed the Jedi on their own. But no, it's actually more sad. It's more sad when you watch the Clone Wars show. It's more sad because they're not doing it because they want to, because they have brain chips in their head and they're turning against the Jedi, because that's what they're designed to do because of their brain chips. Now, of course, the movie doesn't explain that very well, which is kind of sad, but it's still sad. It's still a sad seeing these clones are no longer have control of themselves, and it's very sad. And yeah, a lot of people die. Now, meanwhile, we get Obi-Wan and Yoda trying to go see if there was any Jedi survivors, while Palpatine makes his empire bigger. And apparently, even Padme, we forgot to talk about Padme. Padme even talks about, even is agreeing with the Senate. With Palpatine on this. So Palpatine is turning everyone against the Jedi. Basically, he's creating his own empire, which is honestly kind of sad, because Palpatine, again, is being a liar and all that, like he always is. And speaking of Padme, I forgot to bring this up, but Padme, the character, the person who's playing Padme in this movie, she looks a lot older than she does in the other films. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, she looks older in this film than the other two. She looks older. I'm not sure why, but she does look like she's older, but I don't know. I just find it kind of strange that, I actually forgot to look that up on YouTube, on Google, maybe why the actor looks older, but I don't know if they'll actually have any details on that or not, but I definitely find that kind of strange, though, so yeah. But yeah, so Palpatine, is doing his thing, and yeah, Obi-Wan and like I said, Obi-Wan and Yoda go to this Jedi temple to see if there was any survivors. Unfortunately, everyone in the Jedi temple died. Yeah, all of them died, and yeah, all the Jedi sadly die, and basically, Obi-Wan has to go off and fight Anakin while Yoda goes off to fight Palpatine. I gotta say, it's a really cool battle. I'm not gonna lie, out of all the battles I've seen, because I've seen the Jedi battles on YouTube. I've seen them on YouTube, and they're pretty cool. They're really cool battles. But I've seen them on YouTube, and I haven't seen the sequel trilogy battles. I don't even know if the movie Solo has any Jedi battles, but I have seen, the most of the Jedi battles on YouTube, and out of all of them, I think the one with Anakin versus Obi-Wan is probably the best. I think it just looks the coolest. We get lava and them fighting very quickly, them fighting really quickly. And then we get, Yoda fighting, cutting back and forth like Yoda, and Obi-Wan fighting with their foes and all that. It's pretty cool. Now Palpatine's is kind of a bit more goofy. I feel like he's a bit more goofy in this scene. He goes from being this threatening, serious film, and then he just laughs. It's just the way it just. I don't know how to describe it, but it is more goofy looking. Palpatine is laughing while he's climbing up the I don't know, he grabbed onto a ledge and climbing up it when him and Yoda fall. And then we get one scene where the same scene where Palpatine is like laughing and he's laughing and Yoda's reflecting the lightning and Palpatine's making this weird grunk sound like, ooh, and then it's just weird. Like, it's really weird. Like, honestly, I think that's about the same scene where they fall or something. I can't remember. The scene kind of went by fast, but it's still pretty goofy, but I still like it. It's pretty funny. It's also funny how Palpatine just laughing constantly. Like, I've never seen a villain laugh this much. Like, Palpatine freaking laughs a lot. He laughs a lot, but we get some cool scenes, and apparently, Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight go on a lot longer. And we get one scene where Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting like on this lava, like lava robot things, and apparently Obi-Wan doesn't want to fight Anakin, but Anakin's really pushing it. And Anakin literally backflips on top of the platform where Obi-Wan is at on the same robot. I'm not sure what kind of robots they are, but they're like pink robot things. But yeah, he literally jumps on the same platform, and then Obi-Wan literally jumps onto the ledge and says, "I have the high ground," and Anakin jumps and Obi-Wan cuts his arms off, his other arm off and his legs. Even though it looks like he only cut his legs off, it really does. And then we get where we get some sad moments where Obi-Wan is saying he's the chosen one, and Anakin basically is, Anakin's burning alive. Like, oh my god, he's like literally freaking burning alive, and Obi-Wan's just like telling him that, like it is just freaking gruesome as hell. And then we get, a scene where I guess Padme is giving birth too, because Obi-Wan walks off, takes the, I'm kind of going all over the place. Sorry if I'm doing that, but yeah, basically Obi-Wan takes off with Anakin's lightsaber, and then they walks off, and then Padme gives birth, but Padme's dying and all that. So while she's giving birth, we're getting the birth of Darth Vader, which I gotta say is honestly pretty cool. I do like that. I like the birth of. We get the birth of Padme and Anakin's kids, while we get the birth of Darth Vader too. Now, Darth Vader is already Darth Vader, but now he has his suit on like he's being rebuilt, like he's a whole different person, and it's pretty gruesome and sad at the same time. But then we get them Palpatine and Darth Vader working on the Death Star while Luke and Leia get split up, and that's basically where the films kind of end. Yeah, this is basically where the film kind of ends here. We do also get a moment where the droids get their minds blanked too. I'm not sure why they did that. I guess so the Darth Sidious and Darth Vader don't track R2-D2 and C-3PO down, but I still think it's kind of stupid they blanked their minds. But even C-3PO is like, oh crap. So that's basically, though, the Revenge of the Sith. I may be sounding like I went all over the place here, but I'm trying to get as much as I can in here, because I still gotta talk about other stuff too after I'm done reviewing the film. So yeah, basically though, that's basically it. That's the films. So how does this film, like, between 0 and 120 points, how is this film? Well, I gotta say this film is probably definitely the best of the three. I think it's the best. I think it's the most sad one, the saddest of the three, but it's also the best. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this one 120 points and a good. Yes, I gotta say, it's definitely gonna get that. But I gotta say that I really do I really do like this film a lot. Yeah, I do. I do really like this film a lot. And the thing is, though, is this film's still got some problems. Like I said, General Grievous's fight was kind of pathetic. And there are still some stupid moments in this movie like the other two. But I feel like the pacing is much better. And I just think this film is a lot more enjoyable. I do think the characters feel more expressive here. They have more emotion. I just think this film is a lot better. This film is a lot better than the other films. The other two were awful. I just don't think they were as good as this film. This film is just much better. It definitely feels like they're building up, Anakin's character to the dark side very well and showing Palpatine his true self and on all that. I just think it's much better. Now the thing is, though, that's basically the prequel trilogy, though. That is the prequel trilogy. That is definitely the prequel trilogy. So sorry if I'm sounding kind of off here too. There's a lot to talk about, and when I have a lot to talk about, I kind of space out. But yeah, but anywho, like I said, that's the prequel trilogy and all that, and so we're gonna give this one a score though. But first, we need to state that Episode 1 had 83 points. It was a good. Episode 2 had Episode 2 had 60 points and was a meh. Episode 3 had 120 points. So that sounds like it's pretty good. So let's go ahead and give this one a score now. I gotta say that this is definitely a good, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this trilogy here is definitely getting 83 points. Or 87, sorry, 87. I meant to say 87. So, 87 points. So, yeah, I think 87 points sounds like a very good score for this. Now, the reason why it's getting 87 points, though, is because I do have problems with, the first two films I did. They did get a lower score. And the thing is that the second one is probably what really kind of boosts this down a bit, because the second one was, in the middle. Because the second film had a problem where, the first half was kind of slow, and then the second half picked up. That's kind of what happened there. But I think overall, this is a good score for this. I don't think this is an amazing trilogy, but I do think it's pretty good. And now we're going to go ahead and... actually, before I talk about the notes, because there are notes, I want to address this too. Now, technically, there is two other films that came out before it takes place before the original trilogy, which came out in the 70s and stuff. And those are the Rogue One and Solo. But those films are going to be reviewed next. Solo will probably be next. It takes place, I think, before Rogue One does. Yeah, it takes place before Rogue One. But yeah, I gotta say, though, those are technically, before, but I'm not gonna count, those are gonna be counted together when I review them, because those are technically made by Disney. Yeah, Disney made those. So they're going to be going together as part of Disney. Even if George Lucas made it, I probably would have included them separate, just because they're different stories and they take place, the movies came out years later. So, it was say if Disney never bought Star Wars, I still would include them separate. That's the same thing for the sequel trilogy too. I do the exact same thing. So yeah, those will be coming later. But as for right now, though, we're gonna go ahead and do the notes here. So I have some notes before I let the video go. I do have some notes. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I do want to say that for the notes here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be praising this I'm gonna be praising and the 3 films, and I'm gonna be I'm basically gonna also be talking about things I don't like about it either. So basically, though, I'm gonna start probably doing this whenever I do this stuff. Now the thing is, though, I don't know if I'll be doing this all the time or not, because there's too many things to talk about. I don't know if it'll all fit on there. Maybe if I shrink it down a little bit, it might, but it was very hard to fit all these notes on this slideshow here. So I also chose yellow because I figured I chose yellow because I'm not gonna probably be using yellow for the any of the actual cards. And the thing is, though, I'm doing yellow because I gotta say, I always wanted a yellow lightsaber. Yeah, I did. I always wanted a yellow lightsaber. I was obsessed with a yellow lightsaber. I always wanted one. I don't know if I want one anymore because I hear these lightsabers are freaking outrageously expensive now because they're owned by Disney, and Disney's very expensive. But I still like the color yellow, and I always wanted a yellow colored lightsaber. I wanted one when I was little, and they were very expensive now, and they're probably a lot more now. So yeah. But I guess that's why I have yellow, and I chose blue because I don't have any text for the color blue for these cards. Cause I've been doing it for the review, so yeah. So that's basically why I'm doing that. But yeah, I wanted to just say that. So yeah. But anywho, for now, let's talk about the notes. So I want to go ahead and say right now, the locations in the new Star Wars movie are definitely neat. Yes, they are. Like in the prequel trilogy, the settings are really cool. Like we get this city setting. We get even though there's city settings all the time, and shows and stuff. In movies, like we got Gotham City from Batman, and we got Spider-Man with his city and all that. This is still very unique because it takes place in space, so the sky looks a bit different. Plus, we get these floating cars and stuff. I just think the whole city looks pretty cool, and we do get good planets and we do get good planets Anakin on this lava planet, the planet fighting and stuff, and we get a planet where they're at the desert. Now, the desert's probably the weakest planet because, it's a desert. We see deserts all the time, but I'll give them a pass for this because technically Anakin was, Luke was on a desert planet, and I think they're kind of building up to, him, Anakin and Luke being on the same planet or something like that. I could be wrong, it could not be the same planet, I don't know, but I thought I would bring that up. Also, I gotta say too, I really like the droids. I do. Hold on a second, I gotta sneeze, hold on. I think I gotta do that. Hold on. No, I guess I don't have to sneeze. I hate when that happens sometimes. I hate when I have to sneeze and can't sneeze, but I was gonna say yes, I really like the droids. I think the droids are pretty cool. I think they're pretty cool, and I like their different designs. I think their designs are really unique, and I just think they have neat personalities and stuff. They're not just typical droids. They actually have personalities. Well, they do in the Revenge of the Sith. I think they do kind of in Attack of the Clones. The original movie, they don't, but they do give them more of a personality later, and I like that. I like that a lot. Also, they really do build Anakin's path to the dark side very well. And yeah, they do. They do build it very well. Yeah, Anakin at times is kind of whiny and stuff, and he is a bit whiny, and I do feel like his relationship with Padme is kind of obsessive at times. I do get why they make it obsessive, because he doesn't want to lose Padme and stuff and all that. But I do think in the second film they do make him a bit too creepy with Padme and all that. And I get in the third film why he's obsessive. He wants to protect Padme. That's why he turns to the dark side. That and other reasons too, but I do think they build it very well. Like they basically make it where the council is unlikable, not too unlikable where us the audience hates him so bad, but unlikable to where they where Anakin wants to turn. So they give you some reasons why Anakin wants to turn, and we got Palpatine too. Palpatine pushing it further. So I do think they do a very good job at showing Anakin turning to the dark side. And there's even one moment, like I mentioned in my review, that Padme, he had dreams Padme was gonna die, and he had the same dreams with his mom back in Attack of the Clones, and he was upset and mad at himself because he couldn't save her. And he had the visions. He didn't want to have that same problem. So it makes sense why he turned. So I think they do that very well. Then we have to go to one of the problems many people, including myself, have with the prequels. The pacing was very, very good in Revenge of the Sith. It was very good. But in Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace, especially Attack of the Clones, the pacing was very bad, like at times. Like it wasn't awful, but there was times where it was just kind of slow, and times where it would cut back and forth to a scene kind of weirdly, kind of like they do with Yoda in the scene where Yoda, and Palpatine and Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting to go back and forth with each scene. They did that like in Attack of the Clones with the Worm scene, but it just felt it went on too long and it felt like it was kind of stupid. And yeah, like I said, the pacing was off. And again, there's not really a whole lot going on because they're focusing more on the story. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but because of that, most of the time I'll probably skip half the film of Attack of the Clones just because I want to get to the good stuff, and it takes forever to get to the good stuff. There is some scenes at the beginning where they're chasing this bounty hunter and stuff, which is pretty cool, and we get one where Obi-Wan's in the bar, but otherwise it's kind of slow. I don't know. There are some scenes I do like Obi-Wan at this restaurant and stuff, but most of the time the scenes just feel like they drag on way too long. There's not a lot to go on. But I do gotta say, it's not always bad either, because they do tell backstories and stuff with this stuff too. So we get to learn more about the Jedis and stuff and their past because of this. So I do like that. But I do like that a lot. And even though the pacing is a bit slow at times, it does hurt the films. That's why the films kind of got kind of a low score, was because of that stuff. Especially Attack of the Clones. But I do think overall, though, the pacing is alright. They do tell good stories, but they try to explain stuff in the movies without people questioning it. It still feels like it's kind of slow at times. Then we gotta talk about another thing. A lot of the characters do not have personalities in these movies. They don't. Now, Revenge of the Sith, they kind of fixed this. They gave the characters more personalities, but they don't really give a lot of characters personalities like in the other two films. Heck, a lot of times the characters are just in the background. They're just in the background. They got nothing to do with the film. They're just in the background. I thought they at least should have more to do. Like in the second film, we get Barriss Offee and Master Lumiara in the film, but they don't have anything to do with the film. They just exist in the background. And I wish they had more to do in the film than just being in the background, but unfortunately they don't. They do fight on Geonosis, but they don't really have a lot to do. So that's kind of how a lot of the Jedis and other characters are too. Sometimes they'll have one scene and then they're gone the next two and all that. And the characters that are in the movie don't really have much of a personality. Basically though, for example, Mace Windu does not have much of a personality. He doesn't have much of. He's basically just typical Jedi who sits in the chair and all that, and doesn't have anything to do with that. And the thing is though, they do have they have, that, like, Obi-Wan, too, sometimes. Obi-Wan, when he was flying through the asteroids and stuff, he doesn't really have much of a reaction to that stuff. And that's like that in Revenge of the Sith, too. He doesn't have much of a reaction to, Padme, was telling Padme about the news, like, he's, like, covering his, like, chin, I guess, because maybe he's covering his smile or something, because sometimes people smile in awkward scenes, but it just kind of feels a bit off. So there are a lot of scenes that are like that in the movies, but they do have a lot of characters that do have personalities. Like Anakin and Padme do have their love relationship, and then we got C-3PO being the bossy guy he always is, and then we get Obi-Wan who has relationships with Anakin where they're like brothers and they fight. So I do like that. But for the most part, yeah, a lot of them do not have personalities, and that kind of brings the film down a bit, too. Another thing I want to bring up, too, is Padme's love for Anakin. It is definitely off. Like, her and Anakin both, like, they basically, like, I just hate this. I do hate this a lot. Like, they're talking about, like, I just love you so much, and this and that, and I'm just like, it just sounds so stupid. Like, it really does sound stupid. Like, it does sound kind of stupid, and I'm just like, I really don't get it. I don't get it at all. So, but yeah, it's just kind of stupid how, like, like the way they talk and stuff, and like how Anakin's like flirting with Padme. It just sounds very creepy and disturbing. They both sound like that, and it hurts the prequels a bit too. But otherwise, in Revenge of the Sith, they're much better together, and I do like how they they do have that stupid scene where they're like, I just love you so much and all that, or it just sounds, I don't know, that's not exactly how they said it, but it just sounds very off the way they said it. But yeah, it's kind of off. And then we got to talk about the music. The music in this movie is fantastic. I love the music in this movie. It is very good. Like there's also obviously some music that repeats itself, but a lot of it is very good. Like, a lot of it's original. It sounds very good, and I definitely really like it. One of my favorite tracks is the music that plays like in the Phantom Menace, that they're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting these like droids and stuff with the guns and stuff, and they play this like action music like with Padme and all that. I just think it sounds pretty good, like it does. But yeah, it sounds very good, and I really like it. And I don't know. I just think the music's pretty good. Like, I can't really name the songs. I don't know the names of the songs, but I do really like the music. Another thing I gotta say I do like is the lightsaber battles in the prequels. The lightsaber battles are not all fantastic, but they are very good. Like, some of them, like, the fight with Grievous is kind of weak and all that, and the one with Darth Maul is kind of weak, but I do really like the one, like, where, I do like the lightsaber battle they have with Count Dooku both times. Some people think the first one's kind of weak, but I think it's still pretty cool. Like, we see Yoda fighting Count Dooku and all that. Then we get Revenge of the Sith, where Yoda's fighting Sidious, and then we get Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting and all that. I just think it's very good. I think it's really, really good. I really like it. So there are some things I like and some things I dislike. That's why this film is getting a high good. I mean a low good. So it's getting like a low good because of that. Actually, it's more towards the middle, because I think the good stuff is still very good. The action sequences are still good. The locations are still very good. And I do like the droids and stuff, but the other stuff kind of takes it down a bit. I also didn't talk about either that Jar Jar does not appear in this film hardly at all. I know people found Jar Jar annoying, but Jar Jar just appears at the very end of Padme's funeral. He's just like standing there. Like he's just standing there like I kind of don't know why they just kill off Jar Jar if they're not gonna show him in the movie. I really don't know, but I do know people I do know people don't like Jar Jar. I think Jar Jar is alright in Attack of the Clones. Like I think they fixed his dialogue and make him sound better and all that. And the Phantom Menace, he's awful. Like he sounds awful. He doesn't talk. The talking is what really gets me with Jar Jar in the Phantom Menace. But in Attack of the Clones, they definitely fixed his speaking. He's not as clumsy. Like he's not being as dingus and messing things up. He seems a lot better. So I do like that a lot. And also I forgot to bring this up too. Basically first I want to say that Jar Jar was supposed to be killed off in a deleted scene, but they didn't kill him off, so I don't know why they didn't keep that deleted scene there. But there's also the scene where there's also if you go on YouTube during elections, like presidential elections, you'll see presidents people competing with their heads posted on screens or something like. I saw one in 2016 of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump and some other guy, which I forgot his name, fighting with Darth Maul and all that, and they're fighting Hillary Clinton's Darth Maul and all that. And I just think it's kind of stupid, but it's still kind of interesting. There'll probably be one in 2024 too when the president elections come out. But I think I'm about ready to wrap this up though. I was gonna do a Luigi's Mansion 3 video today, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time because this movie took up so much time. I just say I was gonna do it about about an hour ago. I was gonna say I was gonna do it with when I was videoing my reaction to my thing on my family's Christmas and all that, but that was about an hour ago, and it's already about running out of time. So I think I'm gonna probably have to save the thing until Thursday because I'm gonna have to go into town on Wednesday, and I'm gonna be stuck in town this time around. So yeah. But anywho, I do wanna say that one more thing before I do go. That a lot of people I saw people voting on YouTube and stuff because people can do that. I wish I had the ability to do that. I would ask people questions. I'd ask them who's your favorite celebrity or something like that, or cartoon or something. I list 5 of them and all that. I would do that stuff, but I can't ask questions right now. So, but I do have some people vote and. For between the sequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and the prequel trilogy, and I've only seen it outvoted once, the prequel trilogy being outvoted by the original trilogy, but most of the time, it's the prequel trilogy that wins. So I guess more people may actually like these films, but a lot of people don't, and that's fine, but this is my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. I think they're good. I don't know how the original trilogy is going to be, because I have not seen those movies since before Disney bought Star Wars. I was gonna watch them. I was gonna watch those movies in the at school, middle school, when I was doing a marathon of the movies. But that was before Disney was making their movies and stuff. But I never got to it. That's the same thing with Road One. I've seen Road One actually in the theaters, but I've not seen that in years. But I've not seen Solo. I've not seen Solo in a while, so I'll be watching those movies later. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and let things go here. I'll catch you guys all later in my videos. Bye-bye.